A philosophy professor once stood up before his class with a large empty mayonnaise jar. He filled the jar to the top with large rocks and asked his students if the jar was full. His students all agreed. Yes, the jar was full. He then added small pebbles to the jar and gave the jar a bit of a shake so the pebbles could disperse themselves among the large rocks. Then he asked again, "Is the jar full now?" The students agreed that yes, once again the jar is full. The professor then poured sand into the jar to fill up all the remaining empty space. The students then agreed again that the jar was full. In this story, our lives are like a vast open jar, filled with rocks, pebbles, and sand from afar. The rocks, oh so grand, symbolize what's truly dear: family, health, passions that bring us cheer. They're the core of our existence, the heart of our life's art. Without them, our jar would feel hollow, missing its vital part. Pebbles, not as mighty, yet still play their part. Friendships, hobbies, the pursuit that warm our heart. These elements matter. In life's grand tapestry they weave. They're not the foundation, but what we joyously achieve. Though if pebbles were missing, the jar would still stand, but without their presence, life feels less grand. Now, the sand, like fleeting moments, fills the remaining space. TV shows, idle chats, each a tiny trace. There's a life's small pleasures, brief and swift. They pass like whispers, a momentary gift. But let's not be fooled, for they're not the jar's core, merely fillers that occupy not much more. The moral, my friend, is clear and quite stark. In the jar of our life, let's make the rocks our mark. If we start with the sand, the trivial, the light, we'll have no room for rocks, the essence of our plight. Prioritize the grand, the significant, the true, and you'll find in your jar a life fulfilling and new. So tend to your rocks, then to your pebbles, in your life's grand span, and let the sand fall gently in the spaces that it can. This story of the jar, a metaphor so bright, teaches us to balance, to prioritize right. In life's great jar, let your rocks always come first, for a life filled with meaning quenches your inner thirst. Thank you for listening to the story of the professor and the jar. And now, here are 5 journaling questions that can bring about clarity and insight into your life. Pause this audio after each question so you can write it down and journal on it. Then hit play and move on to the next question. Question number 1. What rocks in your life, the most significant and meaningful elements, do you need to focus on more? Number 2. What pebbles in your life, such as hobbies and friendships, might be distracting you from your essential rocks? Number 3. What sand, small everyday tasks and distractions, might be taking up too much space in your life? Number 4. How well are you balancing the rocks, pebbles, and sand in your life? And what needs to change for better alignment with your priorities? And number 5, planning for momentum. What steps will you take this week to ensure your rocks are prioritized over pebbles and sand, building momentum towards your goals? As we close today's chapter in Stories with Coach Vasil, I want to remind you to share your thoughts. Rate and comment on this episode. Your feedback is extremely valuable and supportive. And if this story and journaling resonated with you, help spread the ripple effect by sharing it with just one other person who might need to hear it. Thank you, and namaste.